This episode of Checking In With is sponsored by Pizza Packet. Enjoyed by millions nationwide, Pizza Packet provides portion-controlled, pre-packaged spice and Parmesan packets. Made with only premium quality ingredients, Pizza Packet is the most convenient and most cost-effective way to provide added value to your customers. During these challenging times, every penny counts. Pizza Packet saves you time and money and is a much more hygienic and sanitary option over dirty shakers. Check out pizzapacket.com for all of your packaging needs.
Welcome to Checking In With. I'm your host, Denise Greer, Executive Editor here at Pizza Today, and I'm with Josh Keown, Creative Director. Hey, Josh.
Hello, guys. How are you tonight?
Excellent. We've got a great guest on the show today. We were actually in his spot in January, right before the lockdown happened. So, hey, Bill Vivian from Regents Pizzeria in La Jolla, California. How are you, Bill?
Great. Good to see you both again.
Excellent. Your background, I just got to say that is top notch.
Loving that background.
Remembering the way things used to be, right?
Yeah. So, we always kick this off. How's it going right now? What's happening right now with you and Regents?
Well, it's tough, like it is for everybody out there. Just to put it in perspective, this is a 4,100 square foot facility. We have 32 taps of beer, craft beer only, mostly San Diego, and New York. We serve New York, Chicago pizza, and a full menu. So we had a very good business, and this whole thing hit us very hard. We lost somewhere around close to 50% of our sales. We're the good news is for
the
us,
model's different, right?
Right. The University of California, San Diego was right next door. That helped us a little, and we're surrounded by high-rise office towers and a lot of high-density, higher income housing. So, of course, the students got in their cars and drove away, as did all the office workers. So
right.
that was really what hit us so hard. So
because I know when we were there in January, right before everything went down, I mean, we were there during lunch, and your lunch was out the door.
Out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're very fortunate to have that business, and so lunch. Even with the dining room opening, is much lighter than it was. What we were able to, we kind of kicked into high gear, I think, like everybody. We went out and looked at every best practice that we could find within the industry pizza segment and outside of it, and just said, what can we do? And so we threw together about, I want to say, threw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall. Some of it stuck, some didn't.
So what stuck?
Well, I'll tell you, the most important things we did was to streamline our digital platform. We use Speedline as our POS, and we integrate with Brigit as our online order taker. And we were running about 1,500 online orders a month. Prior to the shutdown, and a whole lot of that was catering. And after we streamlined, after we changed things, and after we got our process signed so that the guests could use their loyalty rewards cards, that was integrated with Brigit some time ago. Actually, we just were finishing it up. And we were able to put dynamic quote times so people would get their actual quote times for the Chicago or New York pies on a real-time basis versus an assumed one. That helped a lot. We were able to cut down the calls to the restaurant by streamlining, adding functionality to the site where a tip could be added. The entire ticket could be closed out, and including your loyalty club rewards touchless. So we focused on no touch delivery and no-touch pickup. And so where we lost of our takeout business, we lost about 30% of that. And what we did was we had going into this, tons of success by limiting our geofence for social media advertising. We do have paid advertising. And we limited it to a 2-mile radius, and we were setting records, record sales days in February, even outside of our normal seasonality, which was very encouraging, and it taught us a lot about that. And so we made the leap to, so we focused on a 2-mile radius for walk-in and delivery. We said, well, let's expand our delivery area to 5 miles, and picked out 4 new geofenced areas. And that added tremendously to the sales. So we are currently running, even though we don't have the catering business anymore, we're currently running about 40% higher off-premise than we were before.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's been terrific for us. And then since then, we were able to open the dining. We have you guys remember, we have the luxury of an outdoor covered patio.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was nice.
right.
Very nice.
Right, which that's where the bulk of our seating is. We went down, when we set up the restaurant for social distancing, we ended up with, I think, 60 floor seats, down from about 150 or so.
Oh, wow.
But you know what, we weren't filling those up. Even we switched to, our service was much more as a casual, quick service style, where you would come to a counter, as you guys remember,
Yeah,
place your
absolutely.
order your slices from a case right in front of you, and we'd give you a number, and then we'd run your food out to you. And we decided to do everything we could to be as safe as possible. So we followed the county guidelines, which were the San Diego County guidelines, which were terrific, very detailed, and we tried to do that and more. The good news is I went to the dentist a couple of weeks before and got a lecture on the American Dental Association method of cleaning surfaces. And we adopted that. So, and then very simply, for anybody who wants to know, that is to spray a surface with the disinfectant and let it stand for 2 minutes before wiping it down. That just gives more chance to kill bugs. So anyway, so we adopted that.
Well, I know that because we had spoke, because I actually interviewed you for an article, and we had spoke about you had rolled out some more cost-friendly packaging ideas. How's that working out for you right now? Was it something that took off?
The packaging, I'm not quite sure.
You rolled out your family plans, or your family.
Family value menu. You know what?
Family value menu.
That was one that didn't stick. And
I gotcha.
That one surprised me. We have a premium price point, like a lot of folks who are independents do. We try to be authentically New York and authentically Chicago in our 2 styles. We work very hard at that. And we have never really couponed or discounted. Whenever we have, we found people would use the coupons and we never see them again. So people who might be a chain pizza eater now could eat at our restaurant, but they weren't coming back. But what we decided to do, that seemed to be getting a whole lot of traction back then. In the industry, all the majors were doing something, whether it's Texas Roadhouse, whom I admire tremendously, had their bundles, or Olive Garden had something very close to a buy one get one free. Of course, that worked for them, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, let's give it a try. So we bundled 6 meals. We call it the family value menu, and for instance, you can get your choice of 6 slices, and we now offer 10 varieties, a large Caesar salad, and some garlic knots. for a 15% discount. And so we did similar things for 6 different menu items. And we promoted it, we advertised it, and under advertising, we got about 4% of sales, and now it's settled down to 1.5% to 2%. So really nothing, which I guess is good. And then people value the quality over price, the experience. But it's really the advertising that worked, and making online ordering streamlined. We before we opened the dining room, we were doing about 3,500 transactions online, up from 1,500. And now, of course, we have the touchless. We have a QR code. We do have full service dining now.
Okay.
With a hostess stand. We seat you, tell you the rules, and make sure that you understand all the health rules, the masks. In our county, masks are only allowed when you're sitting at a table eating or drinking. And people are respecting that. We really haven't had any trouble with that at all. Part of that has to do with our location. If we were in, say, Pacific Beach or another area of town, that might be a little more challenging, but we did cut our selection of draft beer from 30 to 15.
Oh, wow. Cut it right in half.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
that's shocking. I'll tell you something that was shocking. We thought it was years ago when we were designing the concept. Pizza Today had, you may remember the panel, you're trying to encourage people to get into the craft beer.
At Pizza Expo, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you remember Greg Cook, the co-founder of Stone Brewing from San Diego, was there. And I went up afterwards and explained to him our concept, and, you know, how at that time they were saying, just dedicate 4 handles, you know, just get your feet wet. I talked to Greg afterwards, and he said, well, you know, in San Diego, the bar is pretty high. And if you're going to do this, you better have at least 20 taps. And if you have 20, they better all be good. And so I thought to myself later that, well, the last time I had 100% success in business was never. So we added another 10, and then 2 taps. And so we were running, because inside sales are roughly equal to outside sales, we felt the best way to measure the success of our bar in terms of mix was to measure alcohol sales as a percent of inside sales, on-premise sales. And that built to around 27, 28%, which is a pretty healthy bar for just beer and wine. And I was shocked to find that percentage was the same when we reopened the dining room at, I don't know, 35% of the sales that we had before.
Well, because you know why? Because we were all probably sitting there thinking, man, I just really want to go to a restaurant and sit there with the beer I love and the pizza I love and just sit there and eat it and drink that beer.
So that equals to about 3 or 4 more beers.
Well, we got you covered. Come back to town. We've been able to, the governor, I believe rightfully so, shut down indoor dining in California, in county by county. In San Diego, that happened this week. We are allowed to have outdoor dining, which was kind of a savior for us. So, so that's very helpful. It's very helpful to us.
So talk to us real quick about the advertising you've done. What kind of platforms are you on? What kind of message are you putting out there?
Well, this is another one of those funny family stories, if you will. There was a young man that started eating at Regents Pizzeria when he was about 10 or 12 years old. And you may recall the story. We had an 1,100-foot space in the same medical center that we closed and moved over. Well, he was a veteran of that older restaurant, and he came in. He went to college, and a very bright kid, and he was very successful developing an algorithm that got you in front of more of your users on Instagram through whatever things he did. And his father, being the strong-armed guy that he is, cornered me one day and talked me into using his son's platform. What the heck, we'll do that. And I think it happened to be at his grandmother's birthday party at Regents that this all happened. And it turns out he was about to drop out of college because this business he was developed was so successful. He manages our Instagram and Facebook posts. We developed a strategy with them, and they develop the graphics, and they have full-time folks that work on placement. And it turns out he's turned out to be very good, and he now has built his business. He did graduate from college. He built his business, and his accounts now include Peloton, Wayfair, Mercedes-Benz, and then little old us at Friends and Family Pricing. And
get on the ground floor, and you're good, right?
Yeah. So, well, and he has a particularly soft spot in his heart. Pizza you grow up with. So right. We're in his heart. We get more than our fair share of attention from him. So that worked out very well, and we picked off these new geofence areas, and and so we do advertising. We change it up. We're very careful. We measure the performance of the ads. They're sent to cold audiences and warm audiences. We could segment out and see which graphics and copy tend to resonate. But we have a very high conversion rate. Our Google Analytics are almost unbelievable, I'm told by our people. So
that's the one thing I was so blown away by you when you and your team were talking about just your figures and going over your analytics. Like, y'all know what is going on, every number, how that number is derived, what you need to do to increase those numbers, that whole like smart business planning, tell us a little bit more about how you apply that into your business, especially right now.
Oh, golly, yeah, we know our numbers, that's for sure. We parse them. I'm a little bit of a strange bird. For me, I loved our business and the hectic, chaotic nature of it, but nothing seems to relax me more than sitting in a quiet office with an Excel spreadsheet. So
it sounds like an absolute nightmare for myself, but yeah.
I know. I'm just thinking, I can't. That's why I went into journalism.
Yeah, right. I mean, different strokes for different folks. I know. I confessed my deepest, darkest secret to you. So we just like to, I started my life in finance with Taco Bell of all things, a gazillion years ago. So, I had some pretty good schooling. But today, I mean, I look at our mix, I now look at our mix on a weekly basis, and it's not just, item mix we look at, but we look at business mix, how proportionately how much comes from delivery versus in-house, how does it pattern through the day. We have Uber Eats as a third-party delivery, and we did that because we're tucked away, as you guys remember, in a B location in this great trade area. And from some work we did, we found that maybe only half the people in the trade area know about us. So I felt getting on the Uber Eats platform would be a great advertising for us. And we were able to negotiate the fee down after some track record with them. So, it's marginally more than our own delivery cost. So it's making sense, but we have that love-hate relationship with third party for the same reason everybody else we know does. So,
but you make a great point there, because if I'm ordering third delivery, I see some pizzerias that I didn't know existed, and I'm like, yeah, there they are. Okay, let me look into that a little bit more. So yeah, it makes a great point.
Well, but here's the surprise. We have a loyalty club that you get points for every dollar you spend, and then you sign up, you get basically $5, and it's a 5% forward discount is what it amounts And I think we've got 7,000 members, something like that now.
Jeez, wow.
Well, we also
that's a nice
send
email
out,
list.
I hope this could be helpful to others. So Brigid also collects emails, and that's our third-party delivery. So when you place an order through online, you have to give up your phone number, not necessarily your email, but people do. And then we also have a service called ZenReach, which it's a Wi-Fi system, and to use our Wi-Fi system, you need to give up your email address. So we do send out a newsletter every week, try to keep things fresh, and we always seem to have something new to talk about each time.
It's a good looking newsletter. I get it.
Oh yeah, you get it, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Well, the list is up to about 16,000 people right now, and we get an open rate a little over 20% most times. So that's helpful. You know, we can measure something we promote on that. The mix will go up. But you know, it's a whole lot of things. And it's, I mentioned to somebody else who actually did an interview with someone else earlier this weekend. She asked, well, what kind of local store marketing do you do? And the answer really, I think, surprised her, and I hadn't really thought about it. Anything we had done was not very successful. We weren't very good at it. We did partner with Grande Cheese, gave us a check for $1,000, as they did for a lot of other customers, and we decided to give that away. So we did a promotion with Feeding San Diego, which is as you know, the local affiliate of Feeding America. I've had done work with them in the past, and find that they're really good at what they do. So every dollar that's donated ends up in 4 meals, and they get all these meals by picking up surplus food wherever it is, and so their big cost of distribution is diesel fuel. So that's what the money is used for, and we ended up with a promotion: buy a meal, give a meal, which basically a quarter from every transaction. So we ended up donating 1,000 matching Grande, which is 8,000 meals in May. So that was good. And we do things like that periodically, but not on a regular basis. But the answer I gave her is our best marketing is word of mouth. All the social media has helped, but we grew our business from 500,000 to 2.5 million in that 1,100 square foot space, solely through word of mouth. And we were seeing years of between 7 and 20% year-over-year growth. And it was every bit of it was from consistently improving food quality, ingredient quality. The recipes my late partner put together were fantastic, but we kept upgrading the ingredients. We put processes around making sure that we had a consistent product coming out. We never give up that battle. And same around service. I think we have 18 levels of jobs in our company, and every one of them has a list of tasks to master and a pay rate. So you master the tasks, you get the raise, and so on. And separate from a job interview that includes our value set, which you can see on our website.
That's awesome, man. I know that I'm just really excited to see what happens with you guys. I know that once we get past this moment in time, I know from being out there, your concept is just so good and so kind of one of a kind. I know you do a lot of modeling, but it is truly a one of a kind spot. It's just top notch.
And the pizza is pretty fantastic as well.
And the beer is really good too.
So. Well, the beer lines, we clean the beer lines every week, which ourselves. We set out to do everything in the best possible way. And the only way we do that is by copying the practices of the giants in the industry. People that you've had on this show, we've copied a lot of what they have done, and with our own spin. But we don't have the answers, but we know the community does, and so we're always looking for those best practices. Your conventions, the Las Vegas conventions you all put on. We've just gotten so much information from them. I think maybe one of the most important things we've done is that from the Dough Doctor and Dough Boot Camp, we do the log that you teach and every batch comes out at the same temperature, as the same process that we follow. Based upon what we learned with your group. So,
well, that's, I say it time and again that, the pizza industry is all about sharing, and that's what makes it probably the greatest industry in the world. So
I agree. Well, I think we will let you get back to your day, because you're probably right in the middle of your lunch at some point right here.
The restaurant's empty. You can
yeah. See that.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, and I hope to see you eyeball to eyeball again soon.
Absolutely. Well, take care, Bill, and we'll talk to you soon.